Welcome to the Southwest Pool and Spa Show preview. I'm Pam Vinje, and today we're going to meet Terry Brannon. Terry's on the faculty of PHTA's Genesis Educational Program. He began his career in public works, beginning with the cities of Irving and Tyler, Texas, before founding the Brannon Corporation. He continues to specialize in public works projects, but the firm has carved out an aquatic niche using their expertise in water conveyance, treatment, and structural design. Brannon's registered in 23 states as a licensed professional engineer. With over 50 years in total engineering experience and 40 years in aquatics, he's taking his expertise and his passion to train engineers and contractors in the design and construction of aquatic facilities, from public fountains to splash pads, water parks, competition venues, and private pools. He'll be sharing with us the comprehensive basic PHTA CVP Concrete Construction School program. Let's welcome Terry. Thanks, Terry, for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Pam. Good to be here.
So tell us about your course.
Well, what we're teaching at Southwest Show this year will be the C201 Concrete Construction class, which is the basic certified building professional class. This is the one that everybody that builds swimming pools ought to take. And it covers everything from earthwork all the way through the design and concrete construction and tile and plastering and waterproofing, even startup and concrete decks and things like that. So it's an all-inclusive 3-day course, 24 hours of credit. And the culmination is the certified building professional certification. They have to take an exam after they finish the course. That's the bad thing. They have to take the exam. But the reason why this is such a hot topic, I think, is because there's over 58,000 people involved in the construction of swimming pools just in the United States. And that's not including the distributors and suppliers and vendors. That's just the people that are involved in the actual construction. Of that 58,000, that represents 16,000 firms. The average size firm is 3.5 employees. It's a very small number. And yet, out of all of those employees, only about 2,000 are going to bother to get an education this year, get continuing education in their chosen field of construction of swimming pools. That's kind of frightening to me that we've got a whole generation of new builders that are coming up and haven't yet been trained to build swimming pools properly. Now, in the old days, the way they did it was that their father told them how to build it, or their uncle or some other relative told them how to do it, or they got on-the-job training, right? That's how everybody learned how to build swim pools. But what if that training that they got was not quite up to par? What if it wasn't quite correct? Then all we're doing is compounding the error as we get older and older, and as we build more and more pools, we're just building them the way our daddy did. And as a famous pool builder once said, sometimes your daddy didn't do it right. I also like to point out that there's also 1.3 million attorneys in the United States. And so there's a lot of people out there that are willing to take us on as pool builders and challenge us in the way we build pools. So that's my primary concern. And that's why taking C201 is so important. They've got to learn how the pools ought to be built and why they're built a certain way so that they can build the pools correctly. And for heaven's sake, let's build a safe pool, and then let's stay out of court if we can. The other thing I see that happens is that I see our pool builders have gotten a little bit lax in the way they supervise their projects. And what I mean by that is that I see pool contractors now turning everything over to the subcontractors. And they have a subcontractor for the dirt work, and they have a subcontractor for the rod busting and the forming and then the shotcrete. Everything's done by a subcontractor. And a lot of our pool builders have decided that it's just okay to let, those guys are experts. We'll just let them run the job. And that's not their role. The general contractor, our general pool contractor, ought to be supervising the project. And in order to do that, he's got to have a better understanding of how tile is supposed to be done, how plaster is supposed to be done, how shotcrete should look. And that's the reason why we want them to take this 24-hour comprehensive course, not so that they'll be an expert shotcreter or a nozzleman or something like that, but they ought to at least know what shotcrete looks like, or what plaster ought to look like, what tile ought to look like, then not turn the project over to the subcontractors. I think that's the biggest mistake that I see in my 47 years in the industry, is now we're letting the subcontractors run the show, and I think that's a big mistake.
I agree. I agree. It all comes back on the general contractor at some point anyway.
That's right. And I think that these subcontractors, they each have their own agenda. They have their own pricing. They don't care about anybody else's work. They're not
Yep.
they're not protecting anybody else's work. They're not coordinating with anybody else. They're doing whatever they have to do to expedite the project and move on to the next project. And none of that is serving the needs of our general contractor and their clients. So that's the reason why this is a great course for somebody that wants to go into the swimming pool industry, or somebody that wants to stay in the swimming pool industry as a career.
Yeah. So final wrap. Who should be taking this course and investing in themselves?
This course covers everybody. I mean, the subcontractors, every subcontractor ought to take this course just to know what the other subcontractors are doing. The earthwork contractor needs to know what the forming crew is going to have to do, what the shotcrete guy is going to have to do. So certainly the subcontractors, all of the subcontractors down the road need to be taking this thing. But in addition to that, this course is set up for designers. It's set up for architects, for landscape architects, for engineers to take the course. I'm an engineer. They never taught me anything about swimming pools in engineering school. 5 years of engineering school, the only time I heard the word swimming pool was when I took a life-saving class in PE. They never told us anything about swimming pools. So this course is suitable for those kind of professionals to also take the course. And then I think the other one that needs to take this course is going to be the owner of the company. The owner of the company needs to understand every subcontractor that's going to show up on his job, what their problems are, and also how to manage them. Tell them they can't put more water in the concrete. They can't put more water in the plaster. Take charge of the job. That's what you're being paid for as the general pool contractor, and not let the subcontractors run your job.
And this is all CEU credits, correct, Terry?
Yes, this gets you 24 hours credit, one course, 3 days, 8 to 5, but we buy your lunch. That's the good thing about it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all the effort that you guys are putting in to invest in our industry.
Well, thank you, Pam. We enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing everybody at the Southwest Show.
Thank you once again, Terry, for coming on the show. Builders, subcontractors, engineers, and architects that want an excellent education, not leaving your pool builds to chance, sign up for the Genesis PHDA Construction School Concrete Pools. That's at swpsshow.com. Hope to see you there.